Looking to dress up your front porch or backyard patio with some color and fabric? We've got a simple pillow and table runner project that is going to be perfect for Mother's Day or your next backyard barbecue. I'm Kim.
And I'm Chris, and you're watching The DIY Dish.
Welcome back everyone to another episode of the DIY Dish. It's this time of the year that not only am I getting spring fever, but I start thinking about summer being just around the corner.
Oh yeah, that's right. And one of the things we love to do is just spend time outside.
Definitely.
In the summer.
We love that. And I'm sure you do too. And don't you just love when you can just add that cute little touch to ordinary outdoor furniture with an easy project and maybe some cute fabric?
Yes, absolutely. So we've come up with a project that once you know the basics, it can be used to do just about any home decor or quilt project in any size that you'd like.
We used the new Janome Horizon to help us with it, and I'll tell you, this machine is the ultimate sewing and quilting machine. I could go on and on, but let me just say this. How about, well, how does a few 250 stitches sound?
Oh, that's just, no big deal, right?
Yeah, it's
wow.
got a lot of possibilities with this
Yes.
thing. It also has this extension table, which is so nice when it comes to quilting in the end, and we'll be able to show you that in a little bit.
Wow, so to be able to free motion quilt, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So here's what you're going to need for today's project. You're actually going to need this for each pillow that we do. First of all, you'll want 4 5-inch squares. So we've got our 4 right here. And I like to use different fabrics for them. Makes it a lot more fun. And you'll also want 4 circles that are about 3.5 inches in diameter. And Chris, why don't you just go ahead and place those in the middle of each block.
And of course, I'm doing it on blocks that don't match, right?
Yeah, and see that matches. So we got to do a few mixing around here.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. You'll also want a 1.5 by 42 inch strip of fabric. I used a white one for the border. Rickrack trim, some low loft batting, some polyester stuffing, and then of course the fabric that you want for your pillow.
Of course.
Now to do this project, the first thing you'll want to do is actually make sure that these circles are centered onto the squares. And yeah, sure, you can eyeball it and take a look and say, yeah, that looks about center. But if you want to get a little bit more precise, let me show you a really quick and easy thing to do. All you're going to do is fold the square into 4s and finger press it. Now sure, you could take it over to your ironing table, but just by finger pressing it, you'll be able to see the creases just fine. So I'm folding that in 4s. Okay, and then of course, since I did it on the square, I'm also going to do it on the circle in 4s, and then all you have to do is match them up. And then you've got those right where you need them, okay? Okay, so now you're going to want to put a pin in there.
All right.
So just go ahead and stick maybe a pin or 2.
Okay.
All right, just to hold that in place.
And
then take it over to your sewing machine and zigzag stitch around the perimeter of the circle, just like this.
All right, so what you're doing is you're allowing these edges to fray, right?
Yeah, well, we like the frayed look.
Yes.
And so it's definitely a personal preference. But if you didn't want the raw edge to show, then set your stitch to be a tight zigzag stitch.
Right.
It's going to create a satin stitch, and that will cover up your fabric.
Cover it up completely and not allow the edges to fray. Okay.
So you could either do the zigzag stitch. Some people might like to just do a straight stitch, just about 1/8 of an inch inside the circle. Whatever the look you're going for, that's what you want to do.
Okay.
So go ahead and do that to all 4 circles.
All right.
Onto the squares. Go ahead and put those aside there. Yes.
Okay.
We've got these done for you. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the 4 circles there. And we've got 2 here. What we want to do is now sew this 4 patch together. Okay. So we started by turning right sides together, of course, and sewing a 1/4 inch seam right down the middle.
Okay.
We press that to one side, open it up. You'll want to do the same for this section. Okay, so let me go ahead and take that to the machine here. Okay, so now we'll bring it back over here, and you'll want to press it and then match it up to your other block. So now you'll have a 4 patch.
That's right. Now let me give a quick tip here, because oftentimes people will say, how do you make sure you get those seams to align right on top of each other? Well, this is the trick. you'll want to make sure that when you press your seams, you're pressing in one direction on one block and the opposite direction on the next block.
Okay.
That way, when you put them together, whoops, right sides together, that seam is going to just nestle right in there, and now you will have a perfect match.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and sew that. Okay, and now you've got your 4-patch. Wasn't that easy?
Very easy, so simple.
Yeah.
And this is really a great trend going on right now. The polka dots and the squares.
Yeah.
Really, really fun.
Really fun. All right, so now you'll want to add your border strips.
Right.
And so, of course, you could use any size border strip. I used a 1.5 inch border strip on this.
Okay.
And I just want to sew it along the top here, again with a 1/4 inch seam. Then along the bottom, and then on the side and the side.
With right sides together.
Definitely with right sides together. You've got it. Okay.
All right. Okay, so from here, you're going to cut a back piece that is the same size as your front piece. So if I were to measure this, then I would cut exactly my back to be according to that one.
Yeah.
So you'll sew around all 4 sides, but again, be sure to leave about a 3-inch opening for turning, and fill it with polyester stuffing at the end, hand sew it closed, and you have a darling pillow.
Now don't forget that by utilizing these same techniques, you can make table runners, larger pillows, quilts, curtains, all kinds of cute things.
That's right. In fact, we got so excited about this project that we decided we just had to have a matching table runner to go with them. And so fortunately for us, our friend Jackie created a special kit for it. And if you want these specific fabrics we use today, then we'll let you know how to get that.
There you go. And here's what I love about this DIY dish kit. Jackie will have already cut out, already done, the larger circles, the border strips, the squares, and this super cute wavy trim border. Doesn't it look like rickrack?
I'm in love with this wavy trim.
Yeah.
It's like rickrack taken to a whole new level because now you can use your favorite fabric.
Exactly. And so all of this will come pre-cut for you, and then you just have to sew it together. So we'll be sure to link you up to her kits on our blog if you're interested in that.
Okay, so we took her up on this, but of course, if you'd like to make it, just use a larger circle. You could use a plate as your template if you wanted to. Add them onto some squares, add more of that rickrack trim to the sides, and there you go. But once we made this with the pre-cut fabrics, we decided it needed a little quilting to bring it all together. So there's many ways to be able to bring layers together for a table runner. But perhaps the easiest would be what is called and often referred to as stitch in the ditch. And basically that's where you're taking your sewing machine and just sewing along those seam lines of your finished blocks. Now you could also sew around the outside of the circles, just around there, or even taking your sewing machine and doing lines in a grid going diagonally and maybe perhaps even cross-hatching it and going the other way too.
That's right.
So lots of different ideas and ways to be able to quilt even with a normal sewing machine.
Definitely. And let's back up just a minute. For those of you who have never quilted before or never put together a table runner, quilt or anything, you'll want to make a quilt sandwich. So
that's right.
I think we should probably note that real quick, that you do have a backing fabric, and then you put in between the top layer and the backing layer, you want to put together either a low loft batting, at least for the table runner, I would go with a low loft batting.
Absolutely.
We like something called warm and natural. It's a thin layer of batting, so you'll want to do that. Then you're going to want to actually pin every inch or 2 inches the quilt layers together.
Yeah, especially if you're quilting it yourself, definitely keep those those 3 layers together.
Yeah,
nice and firm.
Okay, so for today's project, I thought it would be fun to try out another feature on my Janome horizon, and that is the free motion quilting. If you want to give this a try, it's a lot easier than you think.
It looks a little intimidating.
It does, but Chris, it really is easy. You will need a free motion quilting foot for your specific sewing machine. You'll also want to drop those feed dogs, and if you're wondering what that is, it's those little teeth here at the bottom of your machine that helps feed the fabric through the machine smoothly. So you'll want to drop those. Okay, and take a look here at how easy this is to do. I'm just starting here and going in a meandering. You could do circles, you can do spirals. There's even templates that you can purchase at stores, and you could draw a template.
Yeah, with a water-soluble marker.
The water-soluble marker, draw it onto your quilt top, and then just follow those lines with your quilting foot.
Oh, Kim, you're doing such a great job.
Well,
it's like you're a pro.
So there you go. Take a look at the finished projects, the pillows and the table runner.
Oh my goodness, I think you need to do mine.
Yeah. We'll see about that. To close, we want to thank today's sponsor, Janome, for making this sewing and quilting episode possible. If you love the features of this horizon like we do, then be sure to find out more at janome.com. And while you're there, take a look at their entire line of amazing sewing, quilting, and embroidery machines.
We'd also love to see what you make with something as simple as circles and squares. Will it be a pillow, a table runner, a quilt? What are you going to be making with it? Let us know on our blog, Facebook, or Flickr group.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you felt that creativity was served for life.